Travel season will be here before you know it, so it's also a good time for a refresher on canceled flights, delays, my experience with lost luggage. I've heard that story a time or two. Our senior consumer investigative correspondent, Vicky Nguyen, is here to lay out our rights when things don't go as planned. Vicky, I'm so glad we're doing this story.
Me too, and a lot of things have changed, so it's good to get that refresher now.
A lot of flights over the weekend because of the weather were just canceled, delayed. What are your rights when that happens?
This is an if and or situation. If your flight is delayed or canceled and you don't take it, you go home or you take a bus or a train, get to your destination some other way, the airline is required by federal rules to refund you that portion of your unused ticket. Here's the thing. If they rebook you to go somewhere, then you have no right to a refund.
What if you don't take that rebooked flight?
Yeah, then you are. Ask about hotels, meals. If I'm delayed, well, are you going to pay for that? It totally depends on the carrier. And so you want to look at the contract of carriage, which is on the individual carrier's website, their contracts. The one area where federal rules really do apply is the tarmac. If you've ever been stuck in the plane on the tarmac, there used to be some real horror stories. Yeah. Now, if it's up to 2 hours, the airline is required to provide you food, water, and bathrooms. If it's 3 hours or more, they're required to take that first flight of the day. You're less likely to encounter any issue. Now, believe it or not, airlines are perfectly allowed. It is completely legal for them to overbook their flights. And they do it because they don't want to leave the ground with less than a full plane. So this is very common. And two options happen. First, they ask for volunteers. Who would be willing to take this next flight out? And often they sweeten the deal with a flight credit, a voucher towards something else. I've heard it go as high as $800 when I'm just sitting there.
That's how I flew in college. I would always just wait.
Smart. And if you're flexible, do it because you're getting a real value for that.
Yeah.
If they are able to, so that's the volunteers. When they get to the people who cannot, are not willing to, and then they have to bump you anyway, it depends on your status. It depends on how much you paid for that ticket. It depends on when you check an hour of your original arrival time. You're not getting any compensation. If you are 1 to 2 hours later than your arrival time, they actually have to pay you 2 times what you paid for your ticket, or $775, whichever is less. If it's more than 2 hours late, 4 times what you paid, or $1,550. So it is significant.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Let's talk about luggage, because clearly I had an issue. 5 weeks it took to get my luggage back. But what would my rights have been?
This is something we know all too well. We're going to get Taylor Swift into every segment here on NBC. And it was like a national saga. We cheered when you got your stuff back, right? So the first thing you want to do, try not to have your luggage be lost at all. Rip off all those barcodes, those old tags. The worst thing is if it gets scanned accidentally and goes somewhere else. Take pictures of the outside of your luggage as well as the contents. That just makes it easier. If you have to file a claim, you can say, this is exactly what I had in there. This is exactly what it's worth. Travel expert Chris Elliott says only put your name, your email, and your phone number on the outside as well as on the inside in case that label on the outside gets ripped off. Don't put your address, he says, because bad guys might know you're on vacation and go there and check out your home. The other thing, we have Apple AirTags. We have other tracking devices, tiles. That could have been handy when your bags were in Italy, wherever they were, and they went on that whole worldwide tour. And then obviously, if you can, keep calm, carry on whenever possible. It's not possible when you have like an international trip with a bunch of people. Here's the thing, if you have to buy clothes, I mean, you guys did a great job. You were like cutting the pants, you were borrowing clothes, you were wearing nightgowns. But if you have to buy things, keep it reasonable and keep a detailed receipt, because when you file that claim, that's how they're going to decide what to compensate you. And let me show you the limits here. It's up to $3,800 per passenger for lost luggage for domestic flights, but that's at the airline's discretion. $1,700 for international flights, and of course, when you file your report for lost,
thank you.
Well, coming up, we've got a world traveler and a country traveler.
Enticing. And then you drove across the U.S.
You'll ever get in pure glacial melt water. I'm always very grateful.
That's a lot different than when you were last time here. Oh, give me a hug. Very nice. You and Megan, your beautiful wife, Megan Mullally, just
like here is as we're getting into middle age. Do you mind just
his book, Where the Deer and the Antelope Play, is out now. By the way, check him out on his comedy tour now.
I love having you here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, coming up, whether you're and shows to watch too. Here to preview what's dropping this month. Entertainment host. All right, let's start because it is October. The billboard for The Exorcist. I don't know if you want to. The billboard's alone.
Taking on a big role in the highly anticipated book to screen series, Lessons in Chemistry.
That's right. It's based on
Netflix series.
Pain Hustlers. This one's a movie on Netflix. It's going to be in theaters first, and Netflix October. About Taylor Swift in general.
Back with the new series.
This one won 37 Emmys in its original. Can I borrow some popcorn?
Absolutely. Please go right ahead. Hey, coming up in Today Food, something to eat. Just before we go, Jill, you wanted to give somebody a special shout out.
I am so excited because it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is Stacey Griffith. You may know her as Soul Cycle Stacey. She's been on my chemotherapy treatment, and today she's done. And she's ringing the bell.
Stacey! Yes!
Go, Stacey.
Ding, 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 ding.
And I'm just so thrilled. So, Stacey, we love you and so grateful.
I love that we can celebrate that win.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely. Hoda and Jenna are coming up next.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good day, everybody.
Bye.